All right, welcome in, welcome back. We've got a fun week in store for you guys, talking about our food triggers and kind of recognizing them and then how to, what's our best option when they are in front of us because triggers are all around us. All right, so let's start with what is or are our food triggers. So at the base of it, the process behind habits we form is called the behavior change. And behavior chains are more commonly known as triggers. So there's habits in every single thing we do in our day, such as like, I'm gonna go take a shower. And when we go to the shower, we stop and make sure that we grab a towel. Trigger is to go take a shower. The habit is making sure there is in fact, a towel there for you to use. So they're all around us everywhere we go. There are infinite number of triggers. Typically, they break down into 4 groups. There's environmental, mental, emotional, and social. So let's go a little bit deeper into each of those. Let's start with our environmental triggers. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go examples of a trigger and the habit, and then I'm going to give you guys a possible solution that if you are presented with this and it's something that you might struggle with from time to time, how to handle it. So 1, going to the movies is our trigger. What's the habit a lot of us fall victim to? Buying the big tub of popcorn and the large soda. I know, I get it. I'm part of it. Something you could do is bring your own healthy snack. Technically, probably against the movie rules. So if you're not someone who's into that, just don't bring any extra money with you. Just bring your ticket and have no way of buying that popcorn or large soda. Going out to eat. The whole idea, I'm here, I might as well indulge and enjoy. You can still enjoy without indulging. One idea is have a light, healthy snack at home instead of the appetizer that's there. You can have control over what you're putting in your body. Obviously, ingredients are listed on a menu, but how it's prepared and how it's actually made isn't always available. This kind of goes against, there's a common thought out there to kind of quit eating all day or like save up your calories to be able to indulge while at a restaurant. But typically research has found that causes us to overeat. So really have something light and healthy that you have prepared at home and then kind of think of it as this food swaps, which we'll talk about later as well. Look at the menu ahead of time. There probably is something that will fit within your eating habits right now that's not going too far outside, not overindulging too much. Look at the menu ahead of time, make that plan, because when we go in there and we see like our favorite dish on the menu, that's when we tend to cave, are triggered, and the habit is ordering it, even though it's not necessarily what we want to have right now. This follows under big preview theme of planning ahead. Seeing or smelling your favorite food. Sounds really basic, but reality is, your coworker or the kids at home, like they just always have this snack on their desk, or you always have it in the pantry for the kids, or another. So one option is be that really nice coworker and maybe buy them a snack that they like, ideally something they will eat since they have the snack in the first place, but something you don't really like, so you're not tempted to eat it. So you can walk by, I don't know, the pretzel rods that don't really do it for you with no temptation to ask for it. And then maybe you like to go on walks in your neighborhood or around town, and you keep walking past this one bakery while they're baking, and it smells so good. 2 options. Take a different route. I know we are creatures of habit and we like to go on the same route, but if it's triggering us and we're stopping for that pastry more times than we're not, maybe it's time to think about a new route or walk at maybe at different times of the day. Lots of bakeries close early. Maybe we go on our walk a little bit later after all that is done. A little bonus if we go with the different route is maybe we got extra steps in. Little side note, because we're going to get to it, going out to eat can also fall under our, obviously, our social tab as well. Next, let's talk about, I combined mental and emotional. They're very similar, but obviously there are some differences. So we've got our trigger and habit, as well as our possible solution, boredom. Who hasn't fallen victim to eating on slow days and having no idea why? Um, Usually we end up turning the day into a graze fest. More often than not, this is like snacky foods, simple carbs. That's usually what we tend to reach for in these moments. One idea is, if you know you have a really slow day, which we all deserve and should have more of, hopefully, plan like a little bit of structure. This structure could be like, okay, I'm going to eat my lunch at this time. I'm gonna eat, start preparing dinner at this time. That way you can enjoy your time throughout your slow day, but you know when the meals are coming, maybe you know when your snack is coming. And along the lines of snack, let's find some high protein snacks that truly fill us so that we don't fall victim to the graze fest, or what I call a snackcident, because we just accidentally had too many. A little example is peanut butter and veggies. Careful not to overdo the peanut butter, but it is a great healthy snack. Along those lines, peanut butter, we're talking all natural peanut butter, not the ones with added sugar and oil, which we probably all like, but kind of defeats the purpose sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes we get too indulged. Or Greek yogurt is also high protein, very filling, and they can be very delicious depending on all the different flavors you get. The most common mental and emotional trigger is going to be stress, right? What's the habit? I've had the worst day at work. Cooking is out of the question. Let's see what's in the cabinet. What can I grab and just put in my mouth right now? This is also known as storm eating, when you just kind of mindlessly eat and just grab what's available because you've just, like I said, you've had a day. Learn to properly manage stress. There are loads of different ways to manage stress, and we've talked about them in other programs, whether it's mindfulness, meditation, planning ahead. There it goes again, bringing it on back. Some examples are relaxation exercise, examining your thoughts, practicing mindfulness, participating in therapy, and maybe before that crazy long day, throw something in before you go to eat that you enjoy, something that might bring you happiness before you have to start the process of thinking about what you're going to eat. Just a little note then as well, stress eating, whether elevated cortisol levels are responsible or it truly is increased hunger, stress usually leads to an increase in the intake of foods that are high in fat as well as sugar. So try and control that stress, kind of deal with the stress before you go into eating. And then if you know that you've got a crazy week, it's, meeting week, anything of the above, here it is again. Let's plan ahead. So, all right. And then our last major group is social. And like I said, going out to eat does fall into this group, even though we're not going to have it on the screen, but we'll have very similar stuff. So going to parties or social gatherings. You see, those are kind of buffet style. You see your favorite food, I have to have it. Or everyone else has gone to the buffet like 4 times. I've only been once. It'll be okay if I go like 2 or 3. Go in with a plan. There's that plan word again. Use food swaps to eat your favorites. I don't know. Pigs in a blanket are your favorites. Maybe because we're having a pastry with our hot dog, we're not going to go crazy on the desserts today. As an example of a food swap. And then set a limit for yourself. I know my friend Sarah has gotten to go to the buffet 4 times, but she must be in a different stage of her healthy eating lifestyle, and that's okay, and that's great for Sarah, but right now I'm focusing on it, so I'm gonna set my limit to 2 plus maybe 1 sweet at the end of the night. Ideally, we're using small plates. Other little fun fact. All right, eating out. Here it is again. My friends might judge me if I only get a salad. This is what's known as a thought distortion. Um, this is going to come with practice and time and recognizing that the solution is the original trigger and habit is most likely just in your head. Um, People probably aren't worried about whether you order a salad or the burger. Just enjoy the meal and the company. All right. And then I wanted to go over a couple other common triggers that don't really fit nice and neat in one of those boxes. So exercise. We've probably all done this in our lives, and we probably will do it again. But I worked out, so I earned or deserve something extra. Reality is a lot of people, especially when they first don't or first get into an exercise routine, they don't lose the weight or don't see the changes in their body they want to see because they're burning more calories, so they're hungrier and they tend to overeat then out of compensation. Um, Couple solutions: have a healthy snack immediately following so you can fight that urge. Again, we're putting something healthy in our body that we are controlling so we can fight that urge to have a graze fest or snacksident, whatever fun little phrase you like to use to recognize what you're doing. And then plan ahead. Eat your next meal within 2 hours of exercise. It helps your body rebuild after the exercise better. You get more of the nutrients going towards and benefiting that exercise. And B, ideally, you won't fall victim to I need to eat right now, and it's whatever is closest and most convenient. Lack of sleep. I am too tired to cook. I'm stopping for fast food on the way home. Plan plan ahead. Have pre-prepped meals available for these days. If you know that you've got to get up extra early in the morning, and it could be Vince is going to go into more details of ways to pre-plan meals next week. But this could be as simple as maybe just cutting the vegetables the night before so that they're ready to go, and you just put them in with, whatever your protein of choice or your pasta. Or one thing is if you have a busy week all around, again, Vince is going to go more in depth with this, so stay tuned next week. Plan your meals ahead. You go to the grocery store on Sunday and you have all the ingredients ready to go at home. You don't have to think, you just come home and make the recipe for the ingredients that you have planned and already purchased for that day. And use some of the tools to get more sleep. All right, the last this could fall under social, hopefully. Alcohol. Have we fallen victim or known someone who says, I've been drinking, calories don't count? Yeah, they do. It stinks. It's reality. Things, but you can have a healthy, filling meal before and hopefully be able to fight that urge a little bit longer. All right, so let's map our behavior chain. This is that part of the presentation that I was talking about that maybe you guys will pull out a little pen and paper. We've got some multiple choice questions coming up, and this might help you kind of figure out what triggers you and maybe the best way to approach it in the future. Like I said, find our biggest trigger and make a plan. All right, really quick, let's go over the behavior chain again. So we've got our trigger, our thought, and then our action. But to find our trigger, because sometimes we know the action is going crazy in a graze fest, but what got us there? Sometimes that takes a little bit more of a deeper dive to figure out. So question 1, let's find our unhelpful habit. So again, inviting you to participate. So overeating, skipping, avoiding, and or forgetting the gym, hitting the fridge after a long day, grazing the snack table at a party. I should say overgrazing the snack table. You're allowed to graze, but maybe not 3, 4, 5 trips back to the snack table. Ordering takeout instead of cooking at home, eating sweets during our breaks or coffee breaks at work, snacking late into the night. And mine for you guys, because I am human, is hitting the fridge after a long day. While you guys, I'm going to leave this up just for a second, give you guys a moment to think about, maybe write down, and we can share in the chat once I get through all 3 of these. I'll check to see if anybody's participating and giving me their answers. You can hold them all until the end, but let's see. What is next now? So before I hit the fridge after a long day, what is the thought that gets me there? My friends and family will be offended if I don't eat X, Y, or Z. That's probably not true. They probably aren't worried about what I'm going into the fridge to get. I'll go to the gym tomorrow. I can't be bothered to make food. I deserve it. I've been good all day and or week, if it's like Friday, Saturday. Everyone else does it. Why can't I? I just can't resist. This will help me feel better. What are you guys thinking based on yours? Mine, because I know myself, at the end of the day, after I wake up at 5 in the morning and I'm excited to be home and a fridge full of food, I really just can't resist sometimes. That's what happens. All right. And what actually triggers this thought? Hunger, emotional or physical, feeling tired or low energy, a stressful or emotional day, eating in social situations, not enough time, sweet treats or other temptations. This is that visibility or sense of smell one, or peer pressure. Those thought distortions I talked about the friend that won't care if you get a salad versus the burger. Every now and then someone might make a comment. But for me personally, when I really think about, okay, when I go home and I go to the fridge and I grab, lately it's been olives. It's been a small dish of olives. And, and then I follow it up with a handful of pretzels, and then I follow it up with a handful of nuts. One of those things would be fine, but it's when it's all of them, in the domino effect, what I have coined a snacksident. And that feeling of not being able to resist. When I really think about it, it typically comes from being tired or low energy for me. So what I have found over time is if I plan my, my meals at work and my snacks at work more accordingly, and I know what I'm going to have to eat when I get home, I can fight that urge to do all the quick fixes. And I know that my energy from food is coming. So just be patient. But just to reiterate, my mapped behavior chain. So my trigger is when I come home tired or low energy after a full work day. The thought is that I can't resist. I gotta have it. I need something right now. And the action is it's an accident. I hit the fridge after a long day. Take these away, and I want to see if any of you want to participate. And let me know, maybe, maybe not, what your behavior chain was for your biggest trigger. Maybe. All right. It's okay if not. Hopefully you made notes and you know what yours is. Oh, if I got back here, here we go. So again, here's mine. But some of you might be sitting over there like, why are you making me think about this? Why am I thinking about my biggest weaknesses when it comes to trying to eat healthy? Because when we understand and recognize the trigger, we know how to approach it. Some days it might be we can step into action and create a plan. Maybe we recognize I'm not actually hungry. Maybe it's, you know what, even though it's right in front of me, I'm really not in the mood for that. I have been eating well all week and I want to continue to eat well all week. I'm just looking at that because it's there. Um, Maybe it's along the same lines. I had a little bit of a bigger lunch today with my coworkers, so I don't actually have the, I guess, the budgeted calories, if you're counting, or the macros, however you're doing it, to eat that snack that's sitting in the fridge staring at me. Um, and yeah, that's so for me, and I hope maybe for you, the best solution typically tends to be planning ahead, which we will go into with more depth next week with Vince for your plan ahead week. But besides that, does anybody have any questions? I'm going to give you guys access to your microphones really quick. Nope, that's my device settings. Feel free to hop in the chat, but like I said, you now have access to your mics if you want to come off mute and ask your question to everybody. And I see something in the chat. Well, thank you, Claudia. I hope you guys can take this with you and, you know, like I said, make better decisions. One thing of note, we are not going to fight our triggers at the onset of them every single time. When the work from home and the fridge is always there. I did work from home for a year like you guys did. So this is for me, I don't, you know, we don't have kids at home. So it's sometimes it's put the healthier options closer to the front, those plan ahead snacks for when you know that you know, a snack accident is gonna happen potentially. Put those ones in the front. Same thing with the pantry, put the healthier options in the front until you have control over those triggers and have like really practice it. Sometimes it's, you know, putting it in front of you and being able to say no. Other times, it's better to not have it available at all the time. That helps. But my biggest tip for those of us who are home all the time is make the healthier options more visible in the front, and, you know, maybe our indulgence options, you know, pushed off to the back, to the side. We have to consciously think about getting to them rather than just grabbing and going before we know it happened. Hence the storm eating, fun little buzzword. Good question though. Anyone else? Any questions? All right. Well, that is all I have for you. Feel free to jump into this chat later if you think of another question, or email me directly. Tomorrow morning, we will be sending out this recording if you guys want to check it out again later. Feel free to pass this along to any coworkers who you think might, you know, benefit from this knowledge, and hopefully we'll see them on the next program with you guys. Bye, guys. Thank you.